All right, I want to tell you about the new Pathways feature in Wikity, but first I want to remind you of how Wikity works. This is called Catalog View. You have a bunch of cards here. You can see these are all cards. Cards can be edited from Catalog View. They normally contain, um, a piece of information, a theory, an idea, something that you've learned. You can look at them in Card View, where you see things like this graphic and so forth. Or you can look at them in catalog view. Now, cards can also be swapped between different sites, and this is one of the major features of Wikity is what we call forking. So we can see this card on someone else's site and say we own a site called new.wikity.cc. We can go and we can copy this entire card right over to our site. And here we are on our site, and here's the card, and it comes over perfectly. We have a copy of all this stuff in our site. And then if we want to link that card to other things, then we can get in there and say, that's actually a horrible association. ELISA and lead have almost nothing to do with one another, so we won't put it in. But we can connect it into our own sort of web of knowledge. So that's all good. One of the inspirations behind this is Wiki, obviously, Federated Wiki, HyperCard. But one of the big inspirations is the Memex, Vannevar Bush's original vision of this machine to think with. And one of the things that Bush had in the Memex were trails, this idea that you would take a bunch of articles or references and then you would sequence them together so that a newbie to that subject could come and they could see how you tied these things into a sequence and you made a larger meaning. And so we've introduced something where you can do that. So if you click stuff, let's actually make something on lead. So we can look for articles on lead here, and we'll make a is that good? Lead and lead have the similar spelling, so I'm getting a lot of things here that don't actually have to do with lead. So we can make a path here called lead. We'll add that stuff to the path. And then when we look at the path, we'll see that this stuff is sequenced, right? So these are the elements in our path. And we can actually click through this. So this is good for putting together an introduction to a subject, reminding yourself that certain ideas go together. Also good for putting together materials for students, right? This could, instead of saying lead, this could say, readings for week 1. And we have copies of all of these in our site too. So we can go and we have we have all of the R's, right? We can revise this, remix this, retain it, and so forth. What gets interesting, I think, is that the path function works like most things in Wikity, that you can actually mesh materials from other sites into your site using it. So let's look at what that would look like. If we go to this site on lead, and let's say that we want to pull this over to our site. We just put our site in there. We're going to add this to our lead path. And you'll see that it's copied that card from the other site. So now we have a copy of the card from the other site, and it's added this broken windows theory broken to the top of the path. Now you can go, of course, and you can reorganize how this is, right? So if you want to go in here and move that down here in the sequence, you can do it. The reason why I have it add to the top is, I don't know if you can see this, but if we're on someone else's site, say we're on the site here, and we find something that we find is interesting, we can add it to this recently added, right? And so let's bring that over to our site. And because it adds it to the top, it becomes a feed of the most recent things that we found interesting. So if you wanted to see stuff I may have collected from around the web, this can be a curated feed. So that is the Pathways functionality. I'm skipping over a bunch of features, but that's the basics. And tell me what you think.